Yo, what's going on, guys? Estee McCrawly coming with another video. Today we got some more double battles on the battle spot using the Mega Camerupt team that I built last week, and battles have been pretty good. I've been enjoying them a lot. If you use the team correctly, well, I mean, and the team's not perfect. It's definitely got its weaknesses. Instead of saying if you use the team correctly, if you can get Mega Camerupt in the correct position, he's so much fun to play with. He's so strong, and he decimates a lot of teams. But like the way it always is, you just got to get your team set up, or your offensive core set up to where they can pretty much sweep and finish off the opposing team. So let's go ahead and jump into this first battle. My opponent had a team of Raikou, Salamence, Blaziken, Bisharp, Amoonguss, and Gastrodon. So before I built this team, I think I may have seen Gastrodon once or twice on the battle spot, but I've been seeing a whole bunch more. I'm not exactly sure why. I've just found it a little bit funny that now that we have a Pokemon or a Mega Evolution that's 4 times weak to water, we've come across a ton of water types. And of course, Gastrodon, where I can hit it with the nice hidden power grass. So I assume my opponent is definitely going to bring the Gastrodon. He's got 2 Mega Evolution possibilities. Excuse me. He has the Salamence and the Blaziken, and I guess both of them you pretty much will want to take only to Mega. They're not really that good. I don't know how, if they're not Mega Evolved, they're not really that good. So. And the Amoonguss here, my opponent could bring the Amoonguss as well to deal with Trick Room if he if he thinks that I'm going to be doing Trick Room, because Amoonguss is so slow. It can be annoying under Trick Room because it can go for those spores. So let's go ahead and get this first battle started. I decided to lead with Musharna and Togekiss just so I can set up the Trick Room, because I knew he was going to lead with the Bisharp here. So that's one of the reasons I didn't bring Landorus, but I knew he was going to leave with the Bisharp, so I know that a knockoff from Bisharp will knock out Musharna. So this is why I go for the Follow Me, because I know that he's going to go for the knockoff, and he's just going to hit the Togekiss. It's not going to be that strong. So, and interestingly enough, he goes for Snarl, which I guess is alright, but you do see the knockoff does very, very little, and he's going to take a little bit of Rocky Helmet. So we see he's not Life Orb, so he's most likely Focus Sash, which is fantastic because we just broke it. And I do get the Trick Room off. So after this first turn, great positioning. And I go for another Follow Me here because, he's most likely going to go for an Iron Head because that's just the smart thing to do. But I decided that I wanted to just be 100% sure and get a Reflect off. And we do see the Iron Head. And thanks to the Reflect, we're actually going to survive, which is absolutely fantastic. So, and he's going to go for another Snarl. I'm like, okay. He probably wasn't predicting the Reflect. So that's why. Because if he was, I'm sure he would have gone for an Electric type move into the Togekiss. It would have been better if the Raikou was faster. He could have taken out the Togekiss and then gone for a knockoff, but that's okay. So here on this last turn, I just go for a Psychic and a Follow Me. It kind of sucks that I actually wanted Togekiss to go down last turn, so that it would be a free switch into my Camerupt. But it ends up going down here, which is fine. Better than nothing, but a few rooms of Trick Room have already gone by, which is a little unfortunate. But the thing, Musharna is pretty healthy, so if I play correctly, I will be able to get another Trick Room up. So that's one of the tricky things about Trick Room is it's only on the field for 4 turns. So you had to use it correctly so that you don't waste the turns. So I was predicting my opponent to switch out the Bisharp here, since it's still pretty important. But interestingly enough, he just switched into the Gastrodon. I was like, come on, I guessed wrong. Of course he switched that out. There's not much Musharna can do at -2 special attack, so I just go for the Helping Hand. But we do see Bisharp protects. I'm like, okay, fantastic. I did somewhat predict correctly, but he was probably predicting the Heat Wave, but I wanted to get rid of the Raikou instead of the Bisharp. Oh, excuse me. I would have preferred to get rid of the Bisharp, but I was expecting a Protect or a switch out from the Bisharp. So with the Helping Hand, the Earth Power does it actually almost knocks out the Gastrodon, but here I go for another Helping Hand, and this time since he protected with Bisharp, he can't protect this turn, and perfectly he protects with the Gastrodon, and he goes for the Double Protect. Doesn't get it, so it's going to be a knocked out Bisharp. I mean, he could have hoped for a miss, but that's a nice knockout. I honestly think like there's no reason for him to protect Gastrodon and Bisharp, because I don't think a Heat Wave would have knocked out that Gastrodon. But he was probably just trying to stall out the Trick Room. And we're gonna see his last Pokemon's or not. It's not his last Pokemon, excuse me. But where you see he still has his Raikou in the back, but he does go for Overheat, and I was thinking he was gonna go for a high jump kick or something. But he goes for the Overheat. He's at -2 special attack, so not a big problem anymore. So here we see the Muddy Water, which is interesting. Some spread and the accuracy drops, but I get another Trick Room up. So my opponent knew I was going to go for another Trick Room, and he had to pretty much take out Musharna to still have a chance in this one. So unfortunately, he doesn't get it. So here, Reflect wears off, and I'm like, there still is a possibility that this Blaziken is a mixed set, since there's not really any special fighting type moves that Blaziken can learn. So like he might have like a physical fighting type move. So I do set up the Reflect again, just in case. Better safe than sorry. So actually we do see he does have the superpower. So it's gonna do less than half. Reflect what didn't save me, but it's still nice to take less damage. So now he's got his last two Pokemon. They're both weak to ground type moves. So in about 2 more turns, we'll be able to finish him off with a couple of Earth powers. So interesting enough, he didn't Mega Evolve with the Blaziken, and he didn't bring the Salmon, so he decided not to go Mega. I believe that Blaziken was Life Orb, but I didn't have to use the Landorus. I had it for mainly for the Bisharp. One of the big problems with Landorus, like against Bisharp, is you're usually going to die because you switch in your Landorus, you get off the Intimidate, and then he has Defiant. So that's why mine has the Focus Sash, so that even if he does go for the Sucker Punch on me, I won't die. So it was a pretty clean game. The way I started out was pretty nice. Especially breaking that Focus Sash from the Bisharp, that was actually pretty huge. And I just, all in all, thinking that he was going to lead with the Bisharp. I mean, it's a very common lead Pokemon, and its moveset, or it doesn't, the ones I've seen haven't varied too much. They all carry the same thing. They all do pretty much the same thing. So it's kind of just one of those things where it's like repetition, and you get a lot better from the repetition. So let's go ahead and move on to the second battle. Isaac had a team of Tyranitar, Talonflame, Thundurus, Virizion, Gengar, and Rotom Wash. So Rotom Wash is one thing that stands out here. It is his water type. Fortunately, its water move is Hydro Pump and not Scald, so it's not 100% accurate. So if it does come down to it, we can bank on a Hydro Pump miss with Camerupt. The Tyranitar here is a little scary. It is 4 times weak to fighting, so but I don't even think a superpower from Landorus would be able to one-shot it. But Camerupt here is a special attacker, and in the Sandstorm, Tyranitar gets a 50% special defense boost, so it'll probably be a 2-hit KO with Earth Power, which could be a little scary. The Virizzion's interesting here. I was debating bringing Togekiss to deal with it, but I was like, well, Camerupt will be able to deal with it just fine. So I decided to bring Landorus here to deal with the Talonflame. Well, it deals with a lot of things, but to deal mainly with the Talonflame and the Tyranitar. And I thought that the Escavalier wouldn't do too much here. The only thing I'd be able to hit for super effective damage would be the Tyranitar, but we've already got a couple. Pretty much everything on my team can take care of or 3 out of the 4 members of my team can hit Tyranitar for super effective damage. Not necessarily knock it out easily, but at least hit it for super effective damage. So let's go ahead and start up the second one. My opponent leads with Thundurus and Rotom, which is not what I was expecting at all. So, and I lead with Musharna Camerupt. So immediately I switch out my Camerupt. The Hydro Pump is pretty obvious here. And with Thundurus, I'm like, okay, well, he's probably going to go for a Taunt. But I should just go straight for the Thunder Wave. So I was like, okay, so I wonder if he doesn't have Taunt, or he must not have Taunt on this Thundurus. So, as you're going to see, I have synchronized. When I built the team, I didn't realize it, but my Musharna has synchronized instead of telepathy. So instead of trying to get another one, I was just like, I'll just leave it at this. So he's gonna Will-O-Wisp my Lantern, which I guess is all right for the residual damage, but I get a nice Ice Beam off here onto the Thundurus, which is gonna bring it down to a Citrus Berry, but one more should still knock it out. And I'm able to set up the Trick Room here, since I realized that he's not really able to stop it. So, good position, but kind of like the last one, these aren't really the Pokemon. Well, Musharna, I guess you could say yes, but Lantern isn't really what I want to have out during the Trick Room. So here I'm like, okay, well, my opponent is probably going to protect the Thundurus or switch it out, so I'm going to double target the Rotom, but he actually makes a really good play and protects the Rotom. So that was a really good play by my opponent. And because I mean, in the end, it would have been smart of him just to let the Thundurus go down. I mean, that'd be a free switch for him, but it actually turned out to be even better for him because he just wastes it. He just burns a turn of Trick Room and gets some free damage off onto my Musharna. So a really good play with my opponent. So this time I'm like, okay, well I'm just gonna knock out the Thundurus. So there I get the crit. It's like I couldn't get the crit last time, but so. He's going to get a free switch, but at this point, I decided that it would be fine. Just so I could get that thing off the field. And so we see his Rotom has the leftovers instead of Citrus Berry. Well, I guess the Thundurus had the Citrus Berry. But he's going to bring in the Gengar here. So, but the way he brought this in, it tells me that he's sashed. He's either sashed or the Mega. We just see it as sash. So, a good play by my opponent. With what he had in the back, I don't remember what his last Pokemon is, but I still feel like that was a good thing for him to do, get rid of the Musharna. So I can't set up the Trick Room again. So I bring in my Camerupt here. A bit of a risky play because the Rotom hasn't moved yet, but I figured he'd try and target down the Musharna. He gets the crit there with Thunderbolt, doesn't matter. The Shadow Ball is going to knock me out, probably do like 50% of my health at least. So Musharna goes down, but it is a free. Well, I technically. Well, no, I didn't get a double switch in, but I switch in my camera up, then I get to switch in whatever I want, and I choose the Landers here. Intimidate is not going to do anything, but I didn't want to. Or I wanted to have my Lantern in the back. So exactly for this reason, since I was missing a little bit of health, I was like, okay, I'm going to switch it in. Hopefully, he's going to go for the Hydro Pump. And so here I was debating, I was like, should I go for the U-turn on the Gengar, or should I go for the knockoff on the Rotom? Because the knockoff would be huge. But, so here I pretty much switched the position of Camerupt, and I put Lantern in there. So he did go for the Hydro Pump into where Camerupt originally was, so that's going to be a delicious, nutritious health restoration for me, 25%. We're in good shape right now. We're up 3-2, but the Trick Room ends right there, which is pretty big, because now his Rotom's going to outspeed my Camerupt. And up until now, Camerupt hasn't done anything. He's still not even Mega Evolved. So I didn't utilize that Trick Room very well. And that's one of the hard things when, like, you usually want to lead the Trick Room plus an offensive Pokemon, but I couldn't with what he led with. So he protects Tyranitar here. and I protect Camerupt. I'm predicting the Hydro Pump into that slot. So we do see he does do it, and I go for a discharge, figuring it would do more damage. But I think a Volt Switch actually would have done more. But I still want Lantern out on the field right now instead of my Landorus. So luckily the Sand is gonna pretty much neutralize. I don't know if that's the word, but his leftovers recovery. So I'm gonna switch out Camerupt here because I'd rather one, I want to get the Intimidate off on this Tyranitar, and two, I'm assuming he's gonna go for some sort of move and bring Landorus down to his Focus Sash. So, and maybe a Crunch onto, well, not maybe a Crunch or a Rock Slide. So we do see it's actually Mega Tyranitar, which I wasn't expecting at all. And he does connect with the Hydro Pump, unfortunately. But that's not even going to bring me down to my Sash. And he does go for Iron Head as well. So I was like, what? He went for Iron Head. Interesting. I thought maybe a Rock Slide would have been a better option for him. But here I go for the Volt Switch into the Rotom, figuring it would do some more damage. And we do get the crit. So what more Volt Switch or Discharge will not come out. So now we had a nice 2-2 right here, but this is really, really complicated. Because if I protect incorrectly, the game's over for me, pretty much. So here I was like, should I protect or should I not? His Rotom, and I choose not to. I'm like, there's no point in protecting. I don't really gain anything by protecting. So he actually protects both his Pokemon, and I just go for offense right here. And honestly, that was at the time I didn't realize it, but afterwards I was like, that's actually a really bad play by him because the Sand is up. So that means his Tyranitar wouldn't get one-shotted by my Earth Power. Maybe even without Sand, he might survive, but definitely with Sand, he's not going to get knocked out by my Earth Power. So that was actually a really good turn for him to capitalize and attack. So here I protect with Camerupt. So I could, because now it's like he has to risk a double protect, or I'm just going to be able to knock him out with a Volt Switch, and that's going to be game. So he went for I'm like, he better not get the flinch, and he got the flinch. He got the 20% flinch. Nothing I can complain about. It happens, but I was like, of course. I played well here at the end of the game, switching in and out, and he gets the flinch. So things are interesting again. So here, interestingly, he protects with Rotom. So I went for the double protect actually, because I thought like there was no point for him to protect there with Rotom. He should have just gone straight up for the Hydro Pump. But maybe I don't know. But I was like, the only way I could win there was for the double protect. And here the Sandstorm subsides, and that's actually pretty big. He might not be taking the sand damage at the end of every turn with Rotom, but his Tyranitar special defense is lowered now. So for some reason he goes for double protect on Rotom. He was probably thinking that he was probably trying to go for the double protect so that Lantern would die to the burn. And he was thinking that like I'd protect with Camerupt and then I'd go for a Volt Switch onto him, and he was hoping I die to the burn. But I ended up going for the Hidden Power Grass into that slot because I didn't want to risk a Heat Wave miss or Heat Wave not doing enough damage. But now we got a nice 1v1, so here he goes for Iron Head. Rockslide, well, I guess Rockslide could have missed, but Rockslide would have been better, would have done more. But so that Intimidate coming up pretty big, and the Earth Power is easily going to pick up this knockout. So a close 1-0. That time I made some, like, I made mistakes at the beginning. With my lead was a little complicated, and then I wasn't able to take full advantage of that Trick Room. I tried Volt Switching out with Lantern, and it ended up backfiring. So, but in the end, I played a little bit better, switching in my Pokemon, getting that Intimidate off on Tyranitar, and actually getting that when I switched in my Lantern onto Camerupt to mid game and got that water absorb heal, that actually was game changing, because if I didn't get that, I probably would have lost, since I would have died to the burn earlier. So very close battle, mistakes on both parts, but hopefully, I gotta find out. That's one of the reasons why I have U-turn and full switch on my team, so that I can go back and forth between. For example, if I have a lantern out, I can full switch out to bring in Camerupt, stuff like that. So that's why I have it. I need to take better advantage of Trick Room, so I don't just waste the turns, and so I don't have to set it up twice or even 3 times in these battles. So hope you guys enjoyed the battles. If you guys want to battle me, go ahead and let me know. I'm going to be making a singles team soon, so I'll be bringing in some more single battles. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.